What's going on, everybody? Richard here from RC Workbench, and in this video I'm going to upgrade my ECX Barrage. It's been sitting on a shelf for at least a year, maybe a little bit longer. Every time I took it out, what you're looking at here has been the biggest issue, the differentials. Basically they're plastic, and you take it out, get your wheels stuck in something, and next thing you know it's completely stripped out. But I was able to find an aluminum upgrade here made by Red Cat. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same part that also comes in an FTX Outback, but trying to get a hold of one of those wasn't working. This is the Red Cat part number. I can't remember what truck it goes into, but it also fits an ECX Temper as well. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and rip off the wheels. This is actually a Barrage Doomsday, aka Barrage 2.0. It was a decent crawler. I think I got it on sale for like $100, but I've always wanted to make it a bit more reliable, have a little bit more fun with it. It kind of annoyed me that every time I took it out, these differentials would strip out. So after you get the wheels off, you just need to take the two screws out of the lockouts, and you can pull the whole thing out. The bearings actually sit on the lockouts, so you don't have to worry about them getting bound up inside the axle case there. You can see how nice and tight they fit into the stock differential. There's no slop at all, but it's softer, and like I said, it just shreds it apart after a while. Sometimes on the very first run I take with it, I've probably replaced them about 3 times each. The newer one, the aluminum, there's a little bit of motion in there. As you could see earlier, the hole is slightly larger, but it is a tight fit other than it being too long. I'm not too worried about the drive shafts themselves getting tore up. They're pretty hefty and pretty stout. Moving along, you go ahead and take off these 4 screws here, and you can go ahead and split your axle case. Out with the old differential and in with the new. It just looks better already. As you can see, fits right in, got a good gear mesh. Everything's the same. The only difference is the material, plastic versus the aluminum, and the size of that hole, obviously. Before I wanted to seal it back up, I want to go ahead and fill it up with a bunch of udder butter. We started using this stuff exclusively. I was using a few other bearing greases, marine greases, but they sell this at our local hobby shop, and it's been pretty badass. We haven't had any issues with corrosion. Bearings tend to last 10 times longer. If you've ever watched any of our videos, you know we take our stuff in a lot of water, and udder butter has made a big difference. The stuff that keeps it going. Go ahead and check out this video on the top right hand side and you'll see what I'm talking about. We love to play in the water. Once you get those 4 screws in there somewhat tight, you can go ahead and slide your shafts back in there. Just line everything up. It goes together pretty easily. And just put your 2 screws back onto the lockouts and tighten up your pumpkin. And you're pretty much done. Only thing left after that is to put on your wheels. Do yourself a favor, use a magnetic screwdriver, because these screws are very small and they were driving me crazy because I didn't have a magnetic tip screwdriver. Once you get those screws in, once your pumpkin's tight, you can go ahead and put your hex pins back in and put your wheels back on, and the rear end is done. You know, I forgot to get a before and after of the rear end. I can assure you this is much better. I mean, you're always going to have some slop going that way between the two, but when you're going this way, it's nice and tight. There's no real slop in it. You can see it's almost immediate, nice and tight. Before moving on to the front end, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like the other videos that we've done on this channel, go ahead and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You can see how bad the front end is. There's a lot of slop going on in there. The CV pin actually fell out of the right side. I have a hex pin that'll fit in there as a substitute, but I got one coming in to my favorite hobby shop, Remote Control Hobbies, Baltimore North. I will leave their information down in the description below. If you find yourself in the Baltimore area, make sure to check them out. They're freaking awesome guys there. I love them all. If they don't have it, they'll be able to get it for you. So the front's a little bit different. As you can see, take out your 4 pumpkin screws. The bearings actually sit inside the axle housing there, so you have to loosen those 4 up before you can pry it apart enough to be able to get the drive shafts out. You don't need to disassemble the entire front steering assemblies. You can just take out the 2 screws, and you gotta take out your 4 servo screws. Typically you don't need to remove the winch assembly here. This is something that I installed a long time ago, and I'm actually going to have to relocate it to the front because I got a new body coming in. You typically don't have to deal with taking this off, but I do. I left it in here because my next Barrage video is actually going to be me mounting the body and mounting the front bumper with the winch on it. Because the servo is actually attached to the top of the axle, you have to take out these 2 screws here first before you can actually get the case apart. And then you can take apart your case. Out with the old, in with the new. Again, there's that part number. Once again, we're going to load her up with some udder butter. I'm actually going to put a lot into the front here because it's kind of more of a pain in the ass to take the front apart, so I'm going to make sure that there's a lot in there for a long time. Again, get yourself a magnetic screwdriver because this is a pain in the ass. You got 4 screws there that mount it to the plate. Get those screws in there. You can go ahead and remount your servo. It's actually a servo that I got off of Amazon. The stock one did not last very long. This one seems to be holding up okay. Budget crawler. I didn't really feel like spending a lot of money on a servo, so far so good. Takes a little bit of finesse to get the bearing and everything situated in there, lining everything up to be able to get your screws started. And then, like I said, I'm going to have to replace this CV on the other side, but I don't have one, so we'll come back to that. Until then, we're going to go ahead and finish up this other side. Then we're going to go ahead and put in the screws into the pumpkin. Be careful when you're putting these in. They strip out very easy. Right now I have one that really doesn't tighten up very much at all. The other 3 seem to bite and secure it pretty good, so I'm not too worried about it. It's not a sealed axle case anyway. Water's going to get in there regardless. Get enough udder butter in there, it's not going to matter. Like I said, I found a pin that actually fits in there. Actually fits in there pretty secure. I can't remember if it's just a standard 12mm hex pin. They were just laying in a parts bin, so I grabbed it because it fit. Hopefully it stays in place for a while. until I can get that CV replaced. Now we're all back together. With the CV and everything in the front, you're obviously going to get a lot more slop like this, but I can tell you right now, this feels so much more secure than the plastic ones. I'm actually looking very much forward to taking this out. This feels so much more secure. I can actually take it out with a little bit more confidence that it's not going to strip out. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like this video, if you like what we do, please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next one.